Hi, welcome to our conversations, a cousins reunion that started with an annual cousins get together, but due to the pandemic social distancing, we began meetings on Zoom and we decided to keep the tradition alive. And now we want to share our conversations with you. I'm Eliana.
I'm Vanda.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Crystal. So, our topic for today is physical activity and nutrition. And as always, we are going to share our opinions and perspectives on this topic, and in hopes that you'll enjoy it, you'll perhaps be informed, and you'll want to have these conversations amongst your family and friends.
So, for me, I was thinking about how there are a lot of different benefits to being healthy and fit, and we might not always think about them. And all of us might want to be healthy and fit, but we're adults, we have families, we have children, careers. And so for me, at my age, my metabolism is slowed down. I have a lot more responsibilities. So the way I looked when I was younger and now has drastically changed. Anywhere between the age of 35 and now, I have exercised on and off. So the benefits for me, thinking long term, would be definitely to age in a healthy way so that I don't deal with a lot of pain or Alzheimer's or osteoporosis, cancer, all of those things that might come if I'm eating unhealthy and not exercising. Um, so for me, just keeping up my metabolism to the best that I can. And I just want to say, guys, I did read something that said that if you there's this idea that if your metabolism is really slow, then even if you exercise, your metabolism stays the same. But one particular article that I read said that no, it's all like brain and body connected. So if you continue to exercise, it's almost like you're reminding your brain, and then your body then moves into it. So you become more fit as you work more on exercising. So what about you, Vanda?
I find that, my metabolism has definitely slowed. So for a while there, I was put on some extra pounds for me. Basically, I used to think that I was very, heavy, as every teenager does, when I was a teenager. And I look back at pictures now and I'm like, I really thought I was fat. I'm like, I was an idiot, basically, because now it takes so much longer. You're not as active as you were. You don't walk around like we used to, Eliana. When we used to go to Slater junior high school, we'd walk from there to like Fair Street, like it was nobody's business. So imagine how much calories you're burning then. Now I have knee pain, like Kevin was saying. So, you can't, I can't do that anymore. So, but I was getting frustrated. So I found different ways. I have to figure out better ways to eat and all those kinds of things. So you just try the best you can and hopefully, it gets better. But you have to keep moving is basically the kind of thing that you have to do at our age. Kevin?
As a male, a thin male, um, I've never had those type of thoughts that women have about their weight, but it's actually a different conversation for men, right? It's about how masculine can you be, how manly can you be. I've always managed to cover those bases, but not necessarily from a physique perspective. Nonetheless, for most, they probably want to feel attractive and desired, and that's what makes them feel happy. Is everybody likes to look good in some clothes or whatever they wear or whatever. However, like, I've been really channeling some inner self lately and listening to some Hindu and things of that nature, and they really emphasize separating the different, physical and mental. So if you have physical pain, for instance, we talked about that knee pain, you have to be able to separate your mental from your physical, and that allows you to heal faster or better, or overcome whatever. I'm not there yet, but definitely for me, I definitely know I got a ton of flaws, but if I was really all worried about how the world thought about me, I would have changed them by now. That's kind of how I look at it, right? Like if I really cared that much, I would have probably did something about it, but I didn't. And then for quotes, Deion Sanders, a great cornerback, punt returner, he said, "Look good, feel good, play good, they pay good." You know, so it all feeds into one. I've always said, dress for the job that you want, not the job you have. So it's kind of goes with that same philosophy that you got to just keep loving yourself, and you'll exuberate all that energy it'll fester. People will know it if you love yourself. Crystal?
Yeah, when I think about the benefits, the word that comes to mind is confidence. You're gonna hear me talk a lot about my own like transformation in this past year when it comes to physical activity and nutrition. But when I think about like what's the benefit, I think about the level of self-esteem that increases, and how your confidence improves. When you feel happy and confident, you are able to tackle the life stressors that we all have. You're able to tackle it with a much better state of mind, because you feel good about yourself, because you feel confident. There's lots of studies done that show that there's links between obesity and depression. And so, one of the benefits of just living a healthier lifestyle is that you are likely to be in a happier state of mind. And we know that when people are in a happier state of mind, everyone around them is happier, and they often find success with whatever they try to do in life. So for me, that's the major benefit, is that confidence piece. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
To go on with that, I find that I have some exercises that I do that are simple, and so most people don't like to exercise. I What I did was I kind of found what was bothering me the most about um, me, or what I didn't like. So my clothes weren't fitting the way they used to. And my main problem is my midsection. And I think it's like that for a lot of women. So I have this what's this lady's name? Lily Sabri. She's got like a 5-minute ab workout you can do 7 days a week. And it's really simple stuff. I put a mat on the floor and I do, these quick exercises, and I'm done. What I've learned I have to do, though, because I can't work out 7 days a week, is I increase the time, and I do it like three days a week. If I get 4 in there, the big plus. But it's really good. So I find that you have to know your limits, I guess, or what you can and can't do. So things like that. And then I don't hurt my knee. I have a bad knee, so I'm not going to go running, because obviously that's not going to be beneficial to me. I'm going to end up hurting myself and not, do well. So I find this makes me happy. This works for me. And then I can keep eating what I like to eat. So, Kevin, do you have any, light things that you do that, exercise or anything that help you?
Unfortunately, yeah, in the last few years with my life, I haven't been able to prioritize working out. But in my years, what I think about doing and what it's on my agenda is I'm a runner, and despite the knees and what have you, like something about that time alone and having your thoughts to yourself, listening to music. I either like to run, during the sunset or during the sunrise. So it's a good place to be, especially being in the desert. It's very serene. You just got to look out for some coyotes, but that's about it. Wild dogs or whatever. But yeah, I love running. That's something I miss. Got a little gym, do calisthenics, push-ups, little weights, and like exercise bands and stuff like that. Those are also the things, but I'm not a gym guy. I'm not gonna go to the gym. There was some times where I used to do it. I remember Dino, he ain't here today, but and that was the biggest max I had. I think I put up 193 times. It was me, Dino, and Slim, and I was
Nice.
out here on the summertime for Boosie's wedding, and I was working out before Boosie's wedding because I knew it was on the beach. So I was working out, and I've never lifted that much in my life. I'll probably never lift it again.
Instant gratification, right?
Yeah, I was like, I had my brothers around me. I was feeling good about myself. Yeah, but I'm not that guy. I won't go to the gym. It's not about that. I think it's about having good life insurance. And maybe a good couple miles.
Yeah.
That's probably
Put a
what
brace on your knee.
at my age. Yeah. Crystal.
I try to walk outdoors as much as I can. And if I can't, then I'll do some cardio on the treadmill. I'll try to do intervals of walking at a moderate pace to running for as long as I can. Sometimes I try to do a straight minute of running, and then I try to increase it to 2 minutes without stopping, and I'll go back and forth and raise my heart level up and down and do that. So that's what I've been doing for the most part, and just staying active in that way. I would like to implement some more strength training and just do like those target exercises. So I definitely want to check that person out that you mentioned, Vanda, because that's definitely my next focus is, okay, I've been able to drop some weight by just being physically active, but I need to target certain areas and kind of take that next jump into the physical fitness side of things. So that's what I do. What about you, Eliana?
So my favorite form of exercise is dancing. So once I found Zumba, I was ready to work towards becoming an instructor. Unfortunately, due to my life circumstances, it didn't work out. But Zumba, definitely number one for me because I already like dancing, and the dancing is incorporated into the workout. Also, when I was searching on YouTube, I found someone who he just posted a quick video, 7-minute workout. And he talks a lot about the benefits of that high intensity workout. And then you slow down for 3 minutes. And Zumba is exactly like that. You dance really fast to Latin music, and then all of a sudden you do more of a slower pace. But I have to include the fact that after our last episode, I did create my whoever it is, it's like called Ellie Love or whatever on TikTok. And I've just been all over TikTok lately. They have a lot of exercise videos, and people will post before and after videos. And there's one where you literally just crunch your stomach. That's all you do all day. You just crunch your stomach, and people are posting before and after pictures, and they're flat. Their stomachs are flat. I'm like,
I'm gonna have to check the video out.
so today I'm like, I was getting ready, and I was like, okay, let's try this. And all you have to do is crunch your midsection, and you have to twist your from side to side. So, so Kevin, how about you? What's going on over there?
All right, so I don't know. I mean, we're over here talking about how we get fit, but we know that it all starts with what you put into your body, right? It starts with your mentation, of course, how you think about life and how you view things, and I talked about that a little bit, the mental part, but the preparation, right? So how do we decide what to eat, what's good to eat, what tastes good? Um, how do we incorporate that into our lives, right? For me personally, I know one thing that I've incorporated with my kids is they love sweet things, right? So give them natural sugars, apples, oranges, grapes, whatever you can, as frequently as you can. Try to introduce them to things. Don't shy away from it, because what your kids eat is what you end up eating as a parent, I think. So when we buy like snacks for them, like cookies and Pop Tarts, like the parents probably end up eating most of it. You know what I mean? So the reality is that it's not a good look. So we've been trying to add fruits and vegetables. Uh, you know, the veggies, like the main thing for me is like they have to be like in a good melody, like good flavoring. I can eat broccoli by themselves. I could eat corn, whatever, anything by itself. But for me, it tastes a little better when you make like a combination of, or a stew or something. You add it to some rice. We're Creoles. My kids, they'll eat that up all day. So um, for me, it's definitely that. I enjoy like trying new things too, and just googling things. Like for example, this past week, I made a jambalaya for the Fourth of July for my coworkers, and it was spicy. And I'd never eaten jambalaya ever in my life, but I looked at my fridge and I was like saw like this sausage and this. I was like, oh, I think let me see what I can make a soup, and I ended up making it, and it was delicious. And you just never know. So keep try. There's delicious, healthy foods out there. You just gotta actually try to seek them out.
Yeah.
So Crystal, I know you probably with your growing boys over there, they're older than mine, so they probably eat like a racehorse.
Yeah, they're eating all the time. But so we kind of just made, well, it was really my husband and I made a big shift during the pandemic, and the kids just have to follow through because that's what's in the house. That's what it is. So I've been doing keto for the last year. And that's been a big major change for me. So, there's so much you'd have to go and look it up on your own, but essentially you're limiting the sugars that you're having, and you are limiting a lot of the carbs. It's really, you're eating healthy carbs, but really it's like no pasta, no rice. A lot of the things that we grew up eating.
Yeah.
So you really have to just get creative with like what you eat instead. And so, I'm a big like potatoes girl and fries girl and all of that, but it's like it's a really big mental shift. That so in terms of what I've been eating, a lot of what I've been eating instead of rice has been cauliflower rice, which I never thought I would like.
Yummy.
And I love it now. And if it's not cauliflower rice, we'll actually get the cauliflower heads and boil them and mash them and make them into mashed potatoes. You can still add all of like the great toppings on top of it, and it's just as good. So that's been like a go-to in terms of, okay, what do I eat if I don't eat rice? But I've made all kinds of wonderful recipes that I found in different places. I have an app that I follow. There's too many recipes to mention, but I guess I'll just pick one. I've had like a broccoli chicken like cheddar bake. So it's just like there's so many flavorings that go into it, and I just kind of baked it all together. And there's no rice in it. There's no pasta in it. Just imagine like a chicken Alfredo, something like that. But there's just no pasta underneath. But the way that it's created is so filling. So yeah, I mean, we do that. We make basically double batches of everything, because then it serves for lunch the next day. So it's nice to know that what I make tonight, I'm going to have for lunch, and I don't have to think about a second thing. So it's not only healthy, but it's practical. So that's what I do. Yeah, I could go on forever about that, but I won't. Eliana, what about you?
Well, for me, it's more of just trying to incorporate the healthy foods. So we always have yogurt. our favorite right now has been spinach, tomatoes. We use a lot of olive oil. So we'll eat bread, like multigrain bread, but with olive oil instead of butter. Cheese is really big here. So I've tried. I remember I read an article about J-Lo, and she was saying how she cut a lot of the pastas and the rices. That's very difficult for me because I love potatoes, sweet potatoes. I love rice and beans. So I try to limit that, but I've noticed that what the way that we've incorporated healthy meals is by making sure that there's a salad, by making sure that like we'll grill squash, or zucchini. So what we'll do is whatever we have, we also have the spinach salad, or we all, even the teenagers, I try to push at least one yogurt a day with my little girl as well. So that's, for me, it's more of just making sure that it's a balanced meal, not necessarily restricting myself from what I eat, which is why I have to exercise because it's the only way to stay fit. Vanda, what about you?
So I kind of follow this Mediterranean diet, they call it, where it's mostly vegetables and fish, stuff like that. The reason I did it was because, you know, I have to exercise and I like my pastas and stuff, like that. So I I balance it. Sometimes I'll have rice, but then I know that I'm gonna have to eat healthy the next day, and portions. I've learned a lot about that. Um, so I work for a cardiology department. They, you know, we have all types of patients, obviously. So we do have patients that are obese. So the doctors will give them this Mediterranean diet, which is how I ended up finding out about it. So um, it helps a lot. You can have fish, which I love. So we eat fish often. I love veggies, but like Kevin said, I love to have flavor. So you can season it. There's, if you don't obviously use a ton of butter. So I do use olive oil, or avocado oil has become a thing now. So that works well. I have certain foods that I like. So rice, the fries, I love fries. They're like the best thing. So I just have to realize that I can't have a ton of fries and have rice on the same day and eat potatoes on the side. So
Yeah.
things like that. You just have to balance. You have to balance, and you have to use small portions. And since I do like the potatoes and fries and stuff, I do those exercises, and I try to do them 3 times a week. So that usually is very helpful. And like Crystal was saying, some I Andrew was on the keto diet, so I do know some of that stuff, and they have really great recipes. And you can definitely you can definitely you can work it out. It can work. I'm sure Crystal probably has another recipe she could give us or something.
There's so many. I mean, as far as like recipes, like I said, I could share. There's too many. I wouldn't even know where to start, honestly. But we know that, when a lot of people think about sharing recipes, they're like, well, I don't cook as much. I don't even know where to start or how to do it. And so I know for me, I just think, before we would open up an old school like recipe book, and some people still have that, but in order to get inspired, a lot of people look online, right? So my question to you all is, how does social media play a role in your physical activity or your nutrition, and just thinking about what you put in your body. How does social media play a role in what how you're influenced to make better choices for your life? For me, I especially when I began keto, I was just inspired by the before and after videos that I would see. And I was like, wow, like there's so many examples out there of people who have just made healthier choices. And when you see the before and the after, but you're still in the before, it's hard to imagine being the after. But seeing other people do it is inspiring because it makes you think, like, if they can do it, I can do it too. So I looked at a lot of that in the beginning to kind of get me motivated to start. And then I would also just watch different videos to inform myself about how to do it. And then ultimately there are certain pages on Instagram and on Facebook that I'll follow where there will be recipes where people will share. So I get a lot of my inspiration from that. If I've made the same recipe too many times and I want to switch it up, I'm always going online on YouTube, really anywhere, to try to get inspired for something new. I need to work on the exercise, those the target things, right? That's not where I'm at yet. So that's my next step, is using social media to find those target like ab videos. That's my next step. What about you, Eliana? How do you use social media for physical activity and wellness?
Well, I just want to say you're going to get there. You'll get there, because a lot of these before and after pictures, they seem to be very real. You know, where before a long time ago, we might be like, nah, they didn't really do that. You know, it's another person. But now there's just so many of them, especially on social media. It's easy to see that it's possible. So the way that I think that you know, no doubt about it, social media motivates us because we're on our phones all the time. We're social media, being able to Google it or use other platforms, it motivates us to want to be healthy. There's so much research and statistics out there that I do see it. It's almost like a movement. Everybody, at least from what I'm seeing on TikTok, everybody's really working out because they want to be able to post something that Kevin said, definitely, right? The benefits of being physically fit, especially for a woman, to be fit, to dress, to look good. And I see that with the younger generation. So Vanda, what about you? What do you think? Like, how does social media help us, or what's what's so great about social media when it comes to our health and well-being?
I have a mixed thing about it. So you can find anything to help you be fit. And like I said, I use YouTube. You know, I have those videos that I use. You can find diets. You can do a lot of that. I don't think a lot of it is all good though, because I think that, you know, the younger generation feels pressured. So you see these models, you see J-Lo, and she is, you know, 100 years old and she looks like she's 19. And,
Yeah.
you know, I just, things like that make you depressed. When I put on extra weight, I was like, you know, you see a picture of her and you're like, oh, I'm never gonna look like her ever.
Fly to the next one, right?
Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of that too. And I think for the younger people, it can be, you know, all the likes, people don't like you because you don't look a certain way, you're too heavy. And there's always been this stigma about, you know, people being overweight, that they're not healthy, they're not whatever. It's not the case. You know, I know this from, like I said, I work in a doctor's office, so you don't have to be skinny to be fit, or, you know, to feel good, or as long as you are maintaining your good lifestyle and you're happy and you don't have high blood pressure, you're not a diabetic, and you don't have heart disease or all this stuff, it's okay to be overweight you know, and as long as you can be active and do things. So I don't want people to think that you know, we have to all be skinny or all be fit or what have you. But it's a it's definitely a challenge. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think one thing that we are overestimating is how much social media impacts our day to day life. I
Yes.
see it when I'm home, daddy sitting all day long, and I have one baby over here, one over here, and I'm like got a phone over here, and I'm like I'm not paying any attention to my kids. So that's one. That's a whole nother debate. But like, for sure, it's peer pressure, right? Like when you for ladies and men, when you look at these images, they make you fantasize, right? So it's good and it's bad because it could be a motivator or it could be a depressor. So it
Mhm.
can either make you feel good about yourself because you're doing good, or it can make you feel bad about yourself because you're not trying hard enough. Um,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, I think social media has a lot of great motivators, right? It has a lot of great tools. So for people that need it, they're going to be able to use it and hopefully find like the workouts that they're looking for, or the people that have these great stories that are, or what have you. Or they can look at the people who are miserable and say, I don't want to be miserable. So that's one positive way to look at it. There's also the negative, which is like, I'll never be a Victoria's Secret model. Um,
Nope.
no, either way,
You're still beautiful to us, Kevin.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking to somebody that worked at Victoria's Secret because I love.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right. That was very strategic.
I know what it takes.
So you know that's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's important that we just, take it with a grain of salt because, like you were saying, Vanda, like beauty is from within. A lot of our ancestors, our mothers, our grandmothers, like they were never Instagram models, so um, it's okay.
No pressure, everybody. Just try your best.
Yeah, you don't have to be perfect, man. It's not about
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I think
I
it was
mean,
a
all
great
we can do is
conversation.
just try, right?
I think a lot of people probably feel a lot of pressure to be something that they're not. And I think knowing who you are within your own skin is like half the battle. So we talked
Yes.
about a lot of good things today.
Great job. Yes. So, Crystal, bring it home for us.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, cousins, for joining, and thank you for watching us give our opinion on physical activity and nutrition. We hope that you found it enjoyable. Vanda, what do you want us to do?
I want you guys to subscribe and hit the like button for future videos.
All right. So until next time,
I'm Eliana.
I'm Vanda.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Crystal, and this is
Our
Our
conversations.
Conversations.
Bye.
Bye.